Hi there, welcome to my channel. So today I want to talk about a subject matter that's very close to my heart. How as Africans, how we sabotaging our own development. There are a whole lot of value systems, attitudes and cultures that are really destroying our development and preventing us from moving forward. I know there's a lot of talk about impact of colonialism, slavery, Western and Chinese influence on Africa in the modern age. I understand that there's been a whole lot of discussions on leadership in Africa, how leaders are not doing well, some leaders are not doing well for their countries, for their communities, for their states or regions. I do understand that those are really, really important. Leadership is everything. It's really, really important in helping us moving forward. But there's something about the general population that I want to talk about that's really impacting our development and how we can move forward as a people. There are certain attitudes and values and behaviors that sabotages our development every day. So today, I want to focus on just 5 of them that I believe as a continent and as a people, we need to look at if we want to move forward. Because it's a very sad, situation at the moment. Sub-Saharan Africa is the only part of the world that poverty is expected to increase. And that's not a good story. That's not a good narrative. And it's something that we need to change. So what is your responsibility? You're watching the video today. What is your responsibility and what's my responsibility? Yes, I will hold my leaders accountable, but as a person, I have, a stake in all this. How I behave will impact my country or my community. The first one I want to look at is corruption within the general populace. So I know we focus a lot on corruption among leadership and that, but corruption is everywhere in the society. Even in the church, in the mosque, you go to a company to actually get something or look for a service in a government department. And somehow, some people will expect you to pay bribe. Please don't get me wrong, it's not everybody who is corrupt. It's not everybody who take bribe. There are certain genuine people who do their work with enthusiasm or genuineness, and I congratulate them for that. I thank them for that. But there are a whole lot of other people who, after being paid by a government or a private institution to do a particular job, instead of doing that job, they want to actually receive a bribe. I understand it. Please, no country on earth actually was created or born on a silver platter where they were rich right from onset. People struggled. People had to work hard for money and resources. People have to do things, in order for them to progress. I understand there's always this argument of people being paid little. Yes, that's there. But hard work and productivity needs to improve, for our situation to actually get better, for us to be paid more eventually. People who do not deserve driving licenses, get driving licenses. And if you are poor or underprivileged, you see a very poor service. Why? Because you not be able to offer a bribe. I talk about driving license. Somebody will be issued a driving license, they don't qualify, they drive a car and kill other people. And the first thing we do is we blame the devil, we blame other people. We don't look at these things. So sometimes you might collect bribe and offer a service to somebody who does not deserve, or give a document to somebody who does not deserve. The consequences are dire. So for instance, that person drives a car and kills somebody. What happens? There are people who want to just build a house. They need documentation. They are following all the right process. And they will be frustrated until they pay a bribe. There are carpenters, masons, and other artisans, who people will actually offer service or more or less ask them to do a particular work for them. Pay them money, good money. They will either not turn up, or some of them will turn up and do a very, very bad job, to the extent that it will even cost more to rectify. That's the state we are in now. Somebody comes to the market, somebody was talking about maybe somebody selling something in the market. They see how you've dressed, and all of a sudden they triple or double the price. It shouldn't be like that. These are some of the things that we're doing that's sabotaging our country and our continent. The other thing I wanted to, in relation to corruption, is about you taking bribe for somebody and giving them a job. That person might not qualify. That person might not be as good as other candidates. But if taking bribe from them and giving them a job, at the end of the day, productivity will be low. The impact on the company will be huge. And at some point, either the company will collapse or, they won't function effectively as they should. So corruption is an issue, and this is something that we need to look at. The second one is tribalism. How many wars has been started? Tribal wars have been started in Africa, in a whole lot of countries. How many wars hasn't been started by tribes in a certain country that leads to a national war that puts a country backwards? A whole lot of countries do not have enough money to even build good infrastructure, and we use wars to destroy, the existing ones, the small infrastructure or minimum infrastructure that a country has. We use tribalism. The idea of, this one is from that tribe, they speak that language, they are like this. The funny thing is, they have either these perceptions or negativity about other tribes other than their own. So what happens is they classify them, these people are like that, they are bad, they are not good people, their women are not good, their men are not good, don't marry them, don't do this to them, don't give a job to this tribes and somebody from this tribe because they are this. And majority of these perceptions, if you ask them how many of those tribesmen or those people have you met in your life, some of them can't even count 10 or 100 or even 1,000 people. Yet they will classify millions of people, a particular tribe, to say they are all bad. And that actually sabotages our development a lot. If you do that, you need to understand that, our culture is diverse. There are so many people, so many languages. And that's the beauty of Africa. That's the beauty of our culture. And we need to celebrate each other. It doesn't matter where you come from. We need to work together. It doesn't matter what tribe that person comes from. When they come to look for a job, look at their competence, how good they are, and offer them the job or deny accordingly. Don't look at the town they come from, the city they come from, the tribe they come from, the family they come from. Once you do that, number one, you deny the right people who could have helped a company, who could have helped a community, who could have helped a nation or a whole continent. You've just put them aside and put the wrong people in a job where they're not supposed to. Right? There are instances where one tribe, person from one tribe will just tell his or her people, this person attacked me, this person from that tribe. People won't, validate or verify his claim. All they do is they get up and go and attack other people. And then it leads to a fight, it leads to a war, and people die, and, properties are destroyed, cars are burnt, and all that. This is really, really retrogressing Africa's development, and it's something that we need to look at as individuals, as a general populace. Now, my third thing I want to talk about is individual worshiping. Our culture is respectful of authority, and that's a good thing. But sometimes we get to a point that we worship people to the point that even when they are doing something wrong, and we know it's wrong, for some reason we deny it. That either it doesn't exist or they are right. How many people haven't defended politicians who maybe they entered politics within a year, they own mansions, cars, houses abroad, and we know their wealth is unexplained. There's no way they could have gotten that money had it not been the position they occupy now. Yes, some people will just stand up and defend them. Why? Because they give them some money, or they are from the same place, or they worship them, or they are an idol, or this person is an inspiration to the community. You don't talk about them. And it's a problem. It happens in churches and mosques, where even a pastor deviates and they begin to do wrong things, and we defend them. When things happen, we need to be able to look at the evidence, or maybe allow a competent court to actually look at the evidence and either free the person or jail the person. But for you to always more or less put something aside and say, oh, this person cannot do that. And one of the things this leads to is, in Africa, even presidents and leaders with very good intent eventually turn to dictators. Why? Even maybe when they come, they are fighting corruption, they are, building their economies, they are doing well. All of a sudden, they begin to oppress and beat up opposition, people who do not share their views or philosophies. And this will go on unchallenged, because why? The people who support this president or this leader will defend them and come up with weird excuses, to say that, oh, those people deserve it. Oh, he hasn't done anything wrong and that. Once we do that, we are actually creating dictators. And that's one of the reasons why, Africa does not progress. Worshipping an individual. It's good. Respect the person. Respect what they do. But when they are wrong, respectfully tell them they are wrong. Do not defend them. Because once you do that, you're actually destroying your country. You're destroying your community. The number 4 thing I want to talk about is lack of individual responsibility. In most instances, in a lot of countries within Africa, people see problems, they can diagnose problems, who cause it, who ought to solve it, but not them. People take no responsibility whatsoever. We call it not my fault syndrome. It's not my fault. It has nothing to do with me. When there's something wrong in your community, yes, you might not have caused it, but you can stand up and say, look, I'm going to deal with this. Gather people together and deal with it. People are throwing rubbish every single day into gutters that has been built, and these gutters get choked. And then when it rains, their houses get flooded. And the first thing they blame, either they will blame the government or the devil or, an old lady in the village or things like that. People will just throw rubbish at the back of their house, just throw them there. And then it rains and it breeds mosquitoes, they get malaria, and it's the devil. People do not take responsibility. People who are supposed to start work at 8 a.m., some of them will be late and go to work around 10, 9:30, 10. And that's not even the worst of it. They will also want to finish early, leave the workplace early, and go home. Productivity is so low. Understand it. Yeah, if the argument is that you're being paid low, not a lot of money, that's why you're doing that. The only way you can pay a lot of money is to help the company or the business you work for increase your productivity. Be diligent, work with integrity, so that that company can actually, increase its revenues, so that you can be paid more. You can be, given a bonus or whatever it is. My point is, even if you are not being paid, we need to take that responsibility and do your part. When something is going wrong, somebody is doing something wrong, don't just walk by and say, this has nothing to do with me. You might have to speak to the person and say, look, you shouldn't do that. We do not take responsibility. We always know who to blame by ourselves. Everyone else ought to be blamed by ourselves. So we need to take that individual responsibility. And the final thing I want to talk about is lack of patriotism. People can sell their country. There are people, leaders, who have entered contracts on behalf of their country. They wouldn't taking a bribe, small bribe, from wherever foreign company they are actually negotiating with or they're speaking to, and then they sell their country resources for very cheap, to people, and their country end up getting very little from that. How can a country develop out of that? Because what they care about is their pocket. They do not care the impact on the country. They do not care about the impact on generations to come. We are not really patriotic. I understand that sometimes when things are going wrong, it's very, very difficult to love your country and say, I'm a proud, African or from this country. I'm a proud citizen of this country. I understand that. But that's not an excuse. Once lack of patriotism take hold, people do not care about the state. If you put them in they complain about unemployment, but if the state gives them a job, they don't care. They will do it anyhow, you know, because they lack patriotism, because they do not love their country. And therefore, they will do anything. When you get opportunity to travel, you go anywhere, you're representing your country. You commit a crime, you're involved in fraud, whatever it is. The first thing people will talk about is, oh, these people from this country are like that. But we know that majority are not like that in the continent. But you'll be classed as bad people. Why? Because of lack of patriotism. So these are the 5 main things I want to talk about today. What do you think are some of the issues and behaviors and attitudes that are really sabotaging Africa's development within your community, in your country, in your state or region? What are the things you think are sabotaging your development? How people are doing, the general populace? Please put your comment below and let's keep the conversation going. Please consider subscribing to the channel for more content. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.